Okay, so I guess we might as well start the Mishnah again on a. I just need somebody to text me if it call if it drops.
I'm designating Naftali Liner.
I second it.
No problem. Fine. I've been
Naftali's like a stellar.
Yeah,
I take what I can get.
that's right. Okay, so anyway, so we're discussing the Nazikin, right? So we said that there's four types of Nazikin that you're responsible for. We don't have to read the Mishnah. So you're responsible for the four Amas Nazikin, which is Shar, Bar, Bava, Heather. So like every mitzvah, before it gets into the nitty gritty, it just discusses some technical things. So it says Avos. So when you say Avos, so then that means that there's Toldus, like we had in Shabbat. There's Av Malachas and then there's Toldus. So the one wants to know first what are the Avos and what are the Toldus. So the one says, the Ketani, yeah, you see the Gemara there? 10 lines down. When the Ketani Avos, it says Avos, the Klal, the Ika Toldus. So that means that there's Toldus. The Toldus literally means, an Av is a father and a Tolda is like a child. Right? So they're saying Ki Yotzeben, I like Ki Yotzeben. I love Ki Yotzeben. Meaning, the Toldas of the Av Malachas, of the Av, not Malachas, of the Av Nazikin. Are they similar or are they not similar? So Gabi Shabbos, Tanan by Shabbos, Avos Malachas Abayim Chasarachas. That's 40 Malachas minus 1, which makes it 39. Avos Mechlal, the Ika Toldas. So if there's Avos, so then that means that there's Toldas. Toldas saying Ki Yotzeben. And the Toldas saying are the same as the Avos. Loishna Av Chatas, Loishna Tolda Chatas. You chayav a Chatas, whether you do an Av or whether you do a Tolda. Loishna Av Skila, but Loishna Tolda Skila. And there's going to be a Chiyuv Misa. So there's really practical, there's no difference between an Av and a Tolda.
What are we talking about? Isn't this a Gemara about damages? So what's it talking about Karbanas for?
No, because we're asking the Gemara, the Kasha is going to take us some base. The Gemara wants to know that if it says Avos Nazikin, that means that there's Toldas of Nazikin too, which means they're not on Avos. So then the question is, if there are Toldas of the Nazikin, are the Toldas similar to the Avos, or are they not similar to the Avos? Meaning, are there any practical difference between an Av and a Tolda? Right, so first the Gemara is bringing by Shabbos, a Tolda is the same as an Av. That they both, if you do it by mistake, you're chayav a chatas. If you do it on purpose, you're chayav skila. Right? So there's no difference. So then, if there's no difference, so why are you saying it? Right? Right?
Okay.
That's what it says. It's going to bring that, then it's going to bring Tumah. Yeah. First it's going to bring Shabbos, then it's going to bring Tumah, then it's going to say, okay, so what's the deal by Nazikin? Right? So my Ika bein Av and Tolda, what's the difference between an Av and a Tolda? Let's say a person does two of it. Let's say he writes and he makes a fire at the same time. Or he does two toldas, which would be what would be a tolda of fire? I'm not even sure. Let's say electricity, according to electricity is not a tolda of fire. Whatever, a tolda of two malachas, right? There's two malachas, but the toldas. So then he's going to be chayim in each one. And if he does an av and it's told there's only chayim one. Meaning, so the reason why you have to know that what toldas are is because if you do an av with its tolda, then you're only going to be chayim one because it's considered the same. So meaning. Really, there is no difference between an av and a tolda. You just have to know what the toldas are, because you have to know which category to fit it in case you do multiple malachas on Shabbos. So if they end up being all part of the same av, then you're only going to be chayim once. If they're from different avos, then you're going to be chayim multiple times. Right, so that's the difference for Shabbos. And what it says, well, according to Rabbi Elazar, the Bechayev Atolda b'Makom Av, that he's Chayev on the Tolda b'Makom Av, that he holds that even if you do two malachas, one Tolda, one Av, and since even if they're both in the same category under the same Av, so then you're still Chayev twice. Amai Korele Av and my Korele Tolda. According to him, what's the difference Av and a Tolda? You're going to be Chayev on both of them the same way. Whatever was considered, whatever was chashav in the Mishkan, meaning an actual malacha that was done in the Mishkan, that's referred to as an Av. After Mishkan Chashiva, Karile anything that was not done in the Mishkan, the exact thing not done in the Mishkan, it's called a Tolda. So really, according to Rabbi Lazar, there is no difference between an Av and a Tolda. It's just a matter of describing it. If it was actually done in the Mishkan, it's an Av. If it was not actually done in the Mishkan, then it's not an Av. Right? So that's for Shabbos. Gabi Tuma. Tuma is also Tnan. We have a Mishnah Avos Tuma. There are Avos Tuma, meaning the highest level of Tuma. Asheret. We have a Sheret. That's one of the Shemona Shratim. That's Ava Tuma. And Bashich Bazera. And that's the Shikha Zera that comes out of a man, so that's also an Avatuma, on Tomei Beis. The Tomei Meis, and somebody who became Tomei Meis, not a Meis itself. A Meis itself is an Avi Avois Atuma. Right? So that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about Avatuma, and an Avatuma makes a Rishon Atuma. Right?
Isha Palet the Shikha Zera is also not the Tuma Shikha Zera? Or is that a Tolda?
I thought it's the same as a man.
So then
No?
then what you said before is just corrected, right? It says this is there that comes out of a man, but it's also if it came out of her.
Oh, you mean I should have said man? You mean I should have said? I mean Tam Shikvazera.
Yes.
Should have said just Shikvazera. Well, it ultimately originated from a man. If you really want to get technical.
Good. Where are the kids?
Sounds like he does. Sounds like he does.
Archko says a male also.
Also says a male.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, well, it originates from a male. So Ragham's just saying it can get intercepted by a female, and it also comes out as a problem. Anyway, so Tomei Meis is somebody who became Tomei Meis. So let's just make sure that we're clear. It's not a mace itself. A mace itself is not Avi Avois Atuma. Somebody who became Tomei Meis, right? A mace itself is, I don't even know what that is. Somebody who touched a mace is a mace is Avi Avois Atuma. Somebody who touched a mace is an Avatuma. That's what Rashi saying. Either way, told us there, their tolders are not the same. Bilu av mitama adam v'kelim. And an Avatuma is mitama person and kelim. The Ilu told us told us are only matama food and drink. It's not matama adam and kelim, right? Meaning told us here is because after you have avatuma, then you have a rishon latuma, then you have a sheni latuma, and then shlishi and potentially the v, right? But that's it. So those are all told us. So there the told us are totally different than the av, right? Why is it coming out here? Coming out. Yeah, so I'm sorry, hachamai. So what about here? Meaning now we're back to the original question. Hachamai. Here by Nezikin, when we say that there's Abbas Nezikin and told us of Nezikin, so are the Nezikin the same or not? Right? We gotta love that answer. Right? There are some of the Nezikin are the same, the told us are the same as Abbas, and some are different. Now,
if it's not similar to Shabbos or Tuma, why did we bring those cases?
No, so because the way it's setting it up is saying we know that there's Abbas and Toldus, and we have two other examples of Abbas and Toldus. One, the Abbas are the same, the Toldus are the same as Abbas, which is by Shabbos, and one, the Toldus are not the same, which is Tumah. So with Nezikin, the Gemara is saying, so what's with Nezikin? So saying Nezikin is somewhere in the middle, Yesh v'Yesh. That's the way the Gemara is setting it up. I guess the Gemara is bringing it that way to clarify to us that there are some scenarios which told us to like others and some scenarios where it's not. So it's yesh v'yesh, and that's hence why this gets very technical, and the technical starts right now. So Tanarabana, Gimel Avos Nemru B'Shar. There's 3 types, right? Again, there were 4. You could try it would be best to write all this down. But there's 4 Avos Nezikim, the Shar, Bar, Ma, Hevet. Now, within Shar, there's 3 Avos. Keren, which is the horn, meaning the animal can cause damage with its horn. Chain, it can cause damage with its teeth. The Haregel, and it can cause damage with its feet. All those 3 are considered Avos of damage that a Shar can do. Which, when you think about it, makes sense. There are 3 types of ways that a Shar can damage, with its horn, with its teeth, or with its feet. Right? Now the Gemara goes through how we know that these are all considered Avos. So Keren, we know them. Maybe. Keren, how do we know? The Tanur Rabbanon. Yigach, it says when a Shar gores. Hey, Negicha, a little bit Keren. Negicha means that what's it goring with? It's goring with its horn, right? You take it puts its head down and it runs into somebody with its horn. Right? Shenemar b'yaslik Tzidkiyo ben Knano Karne Barzel. And Tzidkiyo made Karne Barzel. He made horns made out of iron. But Yomer, and he said, and he said that you're going to use these to gore Aram. Right? This is in Malachim with Yoshaphat. He's connecting with Achav in order to go after Aram. Okay, whatever the not part of that is. Either way, but he told him, you see clearly that the word negicha, goring, has to do with horns. And then the Gemara says another raya. Right? So what does it say? A king has like the shoyroi hodoloi, like the karnei re'im karnov, and he's gonna gore. So you see another thing where you see the word goring has to do with horns. Okay, so we have two rayas that goring is horns. Okay, my vaimer. Why do you need 2? Why do you have to say and it says because maybe you would think that we can't learn out divrei Torah from divrei Kabbalah. Right? Rashi says what's divrei Kabbalah? It doesn't mean Kabbalah like heebie-jeebie. It means Kabbalah means Nevi'im and Ksuvim. Right? So we're trying to learn out halacha. We're trying to learn out halacha about what's considered out halacha. So you can't go learn it. You can't go learn it out from Nevi'im and Ksuvim, right? And Malachim is in Nevi'im, so therefore, we do see that there's such a thing in the Torah as B'char Shari. Right? We know that there's Karen. So what
do we need the pasuk from Malachim? We got pasuk in the Chumash.
Right, just to say this. Yeah, correct. So why do you even start with the first one? And the Chanaman. Just to the Gemara is going to indirectly answer your question. Let's see. So the Gemara asks, right? Is that something that you could learn out? It's just telling you, it's just describing something to you. That Negicha is with the horn. Meaning, what are you trying to figure out? You're not trying to learn out halacha. All you're trying to learn out is what is the definition of the word nogach. When it says to me, what it means to gore, right? Gore means with the horn, doesn't mean with the feet, doesn't mean with the teeth. Right? So all we're looking is for a translation. Why can't you learn that out of Nevi'im and Ksuvim? Not like we're trying to learn out the halacha. The halacha, the Torah says that when a shar gores, you have to pay. Right? So what's the problem? Ella, the one says, no, Ma'al the same, keep following Rachmana being Tam the Mu'id. And we're going to see that there's a difference between a Tam and a Mu'id, meaning a Tam is an animal that, Tam literally means innocent. Right? It just happens to have gored. It was not, a mu'ad is an animal that after it gored 3 times. So once it gored 3 times, then it's considered that it's a goring animal, and you have to, the halachas are much stricter because you should have known to watch it well. A tam is like a regular animal that happens to have lost control one day and went and gored. So therefore that halacha is much easier. But there is a difference between tam and mu'ad. So we might have thought that when the Torah differentiates between Tam and Mu'ah, Hanimi leave its solution. That's when you have a horn that's detached, meaning the animal picked up a horn from the floor, and then I guess put it in its teeth, and then went and ran into somebody with it. So that's we would have thought that that's the Karen Aval b'mechudares, but when it's attached to the animal, meaning using its regular horn, maybe I would have thought that that's a muad, meaning it's an abnormal thing for an animal to go take a horn in its teeth and go hit it into somebody, right? But if an animal to take its horns that are on its head and ram it into somebody, that's a muad. You have to be careful of that all the time. So therefore, it should be strict. So that's what it's saying, that it's referring to anytime it says a sharp with the sharp, the carne rain, that's referring to horns on its head. And even if it uses the horns on its head one time as a tam, then you're going to be less responsible. Meaning you would have thought, Rachman answers the question, you would have thought that without the second pasuk, you would have thought that when the Torah says that an animal gets 3 chances before it's considered a muad, when it gores somebody with a horn, that's if it picks up a horn on the floor and uses the damage. But the horns on its head, that's something that should happen fairly often. You should be more responsible even after one time. So Kamash Malan, that's not it. Right. So then the Gemara says, okay, so we know that Karen is an Av. Fine. And it's an Av that belongs under the category of Shar. So okay, what's the Talda of Karen? What would be a birth? Meaning, what would be something that's a subcategory? Let's call it that of Karen. Talda the Karen Ma'i. What's the Talda of Karen? Negifa, that's pushing. Neshicha is biting. Revita is sitting on something, and Be'ita is kicking. All those are considered Taldas of Karen, not the actual Karen, but Taldas of Karen. That's what the Gemara says.
Wouldn't biting and kicking be from the different of us? Regal and chain?
Very good. Yeah, you got it. That's very good, Naftali. You got to keep, right? Again, Naftali, that's a good question. The Gemara is going to ask it later, right? That the chayra biting should be shame, right? Not teeth. Right? So we're going to see that it doesn't, it has to fall under the qualifications of each one of these things in order to be considered in that category, right? So let's see. Hopefully, it will get clear. The first thing was, "Ma'ishno negicha the karile av." How come you keep calling goring as an av? You said ki yigach. It says ki yigach shar es ish, right? Negifa namiksim, but pushing also says in the pasuk ki yigach. Why are you saying that pushing is a tolda and goring is an av? They're both beferish psukim. So why shouldn't they both be avos? The Gemara says, no, I don't. You're translating it wrong. Hi negifa negicha. This negifa is considered goring. The Tanya pasuk negifa the same negicha. The pasuk starts off with pushing, and it finishes with goring. Zuhi negifa, zuhi negicha. It's the same thing. Negifa is the same thing. Okay, so I want to ask, so how come when the shor is going after a person, it's called a goring? So how come by an animal it says kiyigah? Because there's different halachas also, whether the animal is goring another animal, whether it's goring a person. It probably would be kedai if we sit down and do the psukim together. Maybe we should do that tomorrow before, just to get it straight exactly what's going on in the psukim. Might be a wise idea. Anyway, so the Gemara says, why by behemoth is it called pushing, and why by an animal is it called goring? So other than like mazal, a person has mazel, right? Which I wonder if this is a connection to the end of Kedushin, right? Because the last Talmud in Kedushin said, the last mission in Kedushin said a person's tarnasa is based on mazel, right? They were saying also a person has mazel, right? It says when he gores. So therefore, meaning when a person has mazel, it says it gores him, right? Meaning when an animal, Rashi says, if an animal is pushing against you, usually a human, and the way mazel gets translated here is not, it's more than just luck. It means that the guy has a brain. If an animal pushes against you, move away, right? Or hit it or something like that. You have a way to get around it. When it heads at you like a bull just attacks somebody. There, it's much more difficult even for a human to get out of the way. So therefore, that's why it says ki yigach, because ki yigach is when it's really damaging. Behema, the less la mazola, but a behema that doesn't have mazel, meaning it doesn't really have such seichel, it says ki yigach because one animal pushing another animal can cause it to have damage. Okay, and then the Gemara is trying to tell us something parenthetically. The mu'id la'adam, or the Torah is really telling us something parenthetically. The mu'id la'adam havi mu'id la'behema, or mu'id la'behema havi mu'id la'adam. If something is a mu'id for a person, meaning if an animal is a mu'id for a person, meaning if an animal is so crazy, not crazy, or whatever, such an attacker that it'll attack a human, then for sure it'll attack another animal. But if an animal is considered a mu'id to attack other animals, that does not mean it's a mu'id to a person, because it's a lot more of a chiddush for an animal to gore on a human. For one animal to gore another animal, you see that. You go on a farm, you see the animals fighting with each other, but you don't necessarily see them fighting with humans, right? So therefore, that's what the Torah is trying to tell us. Because again, this whole common mu'id, which we'll get to, is all dependent on is what the animal doing normal or abnormal. Right. So the Gemara asked, Naftali's kasha now, Neshicha told of the Sheni. Why Neshicha biting should be told of teeth. Right? So the Gemara answers, no. Loi Shane yesh hanol hazeka. By Shane, the thing with teeth is that the animal's getting benefit from it, meaning there's no benefit for it when an animal's goring somebody. But when an animal just bites something because it wants to eat it, so the reason why it's doing it is not doing it to damage, it's doing it because he wants to eat something. But here, there's no hana to its damage, meaning in the regular standard piece, it's doing it because it wants to eat. Okay, so then it's damage, but it's a different type of damage. It's doing it for hana, right? But when it's biting because it's angry, let's say, so therefore it's just doing it in order to damage, that goes under the category of keren, right? Meaning, again, you have to play a little bit. I don't know if it's psychologist or zoologist or whatever it is. You have to know based on what the animal is capable of doing and what the owner should know the animal's capabilities are. That's your level of responsibility, right? Meaning, so if a guy his animal, it goes and he eats somebody else's grass, so that's a higher level of responsibility because that's normally what an animal does. So make sure your animal doesn't eat somebody's grass. But you have a dog who's normally tame and it's walking, and then it goes and bites somebody. If that's an abnormal thing for that animal to do, so then there was less of a responsibility on your part because it was something unexpected. Right? So again, the reason why biting is a told of keren is because the animals are not getting any hana out of it. Masha'enken, if it chews something up to eat it, then it would be considered the told of shame. Okay, so then what is Ravito V'ita, sitting on something and kicking, that should be told of the regel. The Gemara answers, no, loy, regel has zeka motzui. A regel, it's common, right? What's probably the number one damage that animals do with the feet that they do is with the feet, right? Ani ain't as zeka motzui, but this, sitting and kicking, that's not the norm. That's not the norm for an animal to do. So therefore, it doesn't go under that category. Okay, so it seems like till now we're saying the told us are like them or not like them, right? And when it says Ella told us, saying la to them, but these told us are not like them. So hey, what case is that going on? Ilema honey, if you say it's going on keren, ma'ashna keren the kavanase la the keren. There's intention to damage, and the mammon, meaning the damage, and the shmira is on you. Aminami, so these two, right? Kavanot and lahadik, Karen with the teeth and the pushing and the kicking, that all fits into it's the kavanot is the damage, and it's your responsibility. So why are we saying that the toldos are not like the others? It seems to be the same exact thing. Ella, the tolda the Karen to Karen. You're right. The tolda of Karen is like Karen. He come a papa where a papa said that sometimes the tolda is not like the Karen. Sometimes it is. Hashem v'regel. That's going on feet and teeth and feet, right? Which are the other two of us nezikin that go under the category of shor. Right? Okay, so just to reiterate what the Gemara just said. The Gemara basically said that shor, which is an av of nezikin, the three others of shor are keren, chain, and regel, the horn, and the teeth, and the feet. Right? And the Gemara so far has discussed keren, and the keren is an av, and the toldos of keren are negifa pushing, meshicha biting, revita sitting on something, beita kicking something. Those are all the toldos, and those toldos happen to be the same exact as others. So there's really no difference. So it comes out, so far we have 6 types of damages seven types of damages of a shor. We have Karen, and then we have shor. So I'm sorry, it's 3. All part of shor is Karen, chain, and regel, and then within Karen there's 4: Negifa, Meshicha, Revita, and Ve'ita. Okay, we'll stop. We will stop over there. So let's just say we went pretty fast. Yeah.
Why doesn't